So a couple days ago, I was watching this TV show called Top Boy. It's like a drug dealing TV show with people that live in London that are like from the ends, like basically the hood. And there's this character Sully, and this character is like a hero and a villain. In a way, like he has a great heart. And most people that are kind of in the streets and stuff like that, from my experience, like the biggest gangsters I ever met in my life, from the small stint in the streets that I like had as a suburban kid, like hanging around in places I shouldn't have been, around people I shouldn't have been around. Uh, they're the most like loving and kind-hearted people, and just until you cross them, like they have the most great intentions. They love the hardest. Just people cross them, and once you cross them, it's done, and they gotta do what they gotta do. And this character Sully is much like that. He is like charismatic, cares so much, has this like really, really kind heart, but people fuck him over, and it's a play on survival, and especially in that environment, it's like the survival of the fittest, the survival of, if it's not you, it's me, and at the end of the TV show, not to spoil it if you never watched it, at the end of the TV show, he kills his best friend, doesn't mean to, it's the guy crosses him in one way or another, steals the food, steals the drugs, and then he has to shoot him. And he's like, I don't want to shoot you, but I gotta shoot you, like whatever. He shoots him, and he's they're having a conversation, and he's like, you know how it is, like, bro, if you're not you're not a monster, you're food, in a sense, like if you don't kill, you're gonna be killed, and in a sad way I can understand that. In a sad way, I kind of get it, that survival of the fittest instinct that I'm not gonna say I gained it, I'm not gonna say I have it, I'm not gonna say anything like that, but you find a way to survive with the pain that comes your way. You find a way to figure out how to get through the things that you're having to face, in one way or another, whether it's compartmentalizing, whatever it is. Like when you're a kid, you're not told like, yo, you can feel these emotions. Like you feel actually really alone in some situations that you just can't understand. And I remember when I was young and I had this relationship with God, and I didn't really understand God. I was so young. I was like 13, 14, 12. And I'm like, what is this God? I hear people talk about God. I hear people pray about God, but I don't have a reason to believe in God. I just don't get it. And if God's here, like, how is he working? And I just didn't feel bad to know a God. I didn't understand what the concept was. I didn't understand why you would believe in it. What is the reason to have faith? And I remember a couple things happened when I was younger that were like pretty traumatizing for me, that revolved around like my performance as a kid, between me and my parents, and things happen, things that I don't really talk about, things that I just don't care to share, completely at this moment, but it hurt me, it hurt me in a way, and I couldn't understand it. Like I couldn't understand how I had this relationship with my parents and this thing could happen, and I was like, if there's a God, I remember laying in my bed the night it happened, and I'm like, if there's a God, how, like, he just must not like me. And I started to have this relationship with him where I was like, God is the reason that fucks up my life, like every single time, because if there's a God, how could he ever let this happen? And a couple years ago, I remember this specifically, it just popped in my mind. There's this girl, I'm not gonna expose her name, of course. Like her mother and father had died, and I was like saying that would be a blessing, that would be this, that would be that, God bless, something like that, because I was just getting sober. I was super duper blessed to get sober. And she's like, fuck God wouldn't give a fuck if you died or lived. God doesn't give a fuck if you eat or starve. That's what she said. And I was just like, whoa, that's like crazy. But I get that relationship, I get that relationship, like, of like saying like, you took this from me. Like, you did this. You let this happen. How, if you loved me, how could you let this happen? And I related a lot. And then I could say, of course, now looking back, most of you guys don't know, but I'm an alcoholic and an addict. I'm 4 years sober. I'm 23 years old. My life completely changed by the grace of God. I was homeless. I was addicted to drugs, had no way out. And I remember when I first started using drugs, I first started like playing around with like pills, like first started like really smoking weed, like super duper heavy, started doing shrooms, started doing LSD, started like really getting big into it, heavy into it. I was like popping Adderalls, like staying up for multiple days. I was doing Molly, and I was like having the best time of my life in Miami. The best time of my life. And everything was smooth, and I was like, God is real, and everything's good. God is so real. I was like, God is great. God is real. And then fast forward, the end of the summer comes. I got with a bunch of girls. I was hype. I was like, this is it. But at the same time, I'm like coming out of these moments with these girls, or these highs, and like coming off like 3-day Adderall benders, coming off of Molly, and like I'm feeling the lows, and I'm like I just keep sinning. Like, in a way, I feel like God's presence, and I feel when I'm coming out the bed with the girl, I'm like, yeah. I feel freaking empty. Like, I feel like this is wrong. Like, it felt wrong, and I felt it. And that was like my first sense of God, right? And I remember it's the end of summer, did so many crazy things, lived this crazy lifestyle, did everything I ever imagined almost, other than like traveling the world, like doing this in Europe. Like that's the only thing that makes it better. Instead of Miami, Europe. But it's like I'm living this Miami lifestyle supposedly. End of summer comes. My friend orders like a pound of weed in the mail. We're at my apartment chilling. He lives under me. Whatever. He goes, gets the pound. Brings it into the crib. He's on the phone with his plug. The plug looks at the package. He's like, somebody touched that package, dude. Somebody touched that package. I don't know. I didn't tape it like that. 1 minute later, somebody knocks at the door. Right? There's no peephole on my apartment door. We look at each other like, who's that at the door? So I go to the door. We're smoking, whatever it is. I go to the door. Peep open the door. Peep my head. It's like I only see one sheriff. I see one sheriff. He's like, oh, I'm looking for a guy. He's basically explaining to my friend. I'm like, nah, I haven't really seen him. And then like I'm trying to end the conversation. I try to close the door. Boom, he just busts open the door. They run in, and when he busts open the door, I like see behind him, and I'm like, oh shit, like, ow, right? I'm like, dang. And there's like 7 guys behind him, guns up, like on some 007 secret agent, and they just raid the crib. Like, they just put my hands behind my back, handcuffs, whatever it is, and they raid the crib. And I'm like, what the fuck? Whatever. They take us out the crib, whatever. They're like interrogating us, whatever. And then they were telling us they were watching us for a couple of days. They were investigating us. They told me everything I did for like the past week. They said, yeah, you had that girl over, blah, blah, told me her name, this, that, and this. It was crazy. Like, I'm like, this is wild. But I'm at the same time, I know nothing, so I can't tell him anything. And I'm just saying like, oh, I'm not going to snitch. And at the end, and in a way, it's like, when it happened, I was like, all right, my life's over. Cool. Like, I was fine with it, like, in a sense. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to jail. Let's figure out how we're gonna figure that out. This is it. This is it. And I was like, there goes God fucking in my life one more time. And I'm sitting there like 2-3 hours to get like a warrant to go in the house. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened, but I ended up getting off like scot-free. They were like, you're a good kid. We know you're a good kid. Maybe you're hanging around the wrong people. Whatever. And they let me go. And then the funny is, I was so addicted to drugs. I had like some weed like sitting on the counter that I was like rolling up. And I'm like, they took the pound of weed, but I'm like looking and I'm saying, and a pound of weed is nothing, by the way. Like, they thought we had like fentanyl. They thought we were really El Chapo. So whole time they're like, whatever. Like, we just wasted a couple hours doing this for some kids that had just some weed that they were probably going to sell. But we had nothing to sell it with, so they couldn't like catch us on anything. And I'm like, yo, like, the guy just took off my handcuffs. I'm like, yo, where'd that weed go that I was trying to roll up? And the guy's like, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, bro, just get off drugs. And he just left. He leaves, whatever. And I go behind the couch and it's like still there. It's like the weed is like on the floor. And I'm like, damn, the guy left me like 8 G's. It was freaking lit. I was like, dang, that's fire. But fast forward, I sit on the couch, I'm smoking, and I'm like, God is like showing me something in this. Like, this isn't normal that I just got scot-free, like, didn't go to jail, like nothing. And like a couple of days later, I end up like quitting weed after I like started like going on the run, because I was like scared they were watching me or something. But back to the point. Back to the point. God in my head always ruined the party. God in my head was always messing up my life. Fast forward, I get sober like 90 days. I end up relapsing. Bad stuff just keeps happening. I keep saying, there goes God, there goes God, there goes God. Like, why can't God just let me use drugs in peace, right? And I started to think about this friend that I used to have. And he's like the son of a billionaire, has everything in life because his dad's a billionaire. He has so much. And he had like a allowance of like $2,000 a day. Like, he got a $2,000 sent to him every day, like clockwork, every single day. He was a kid I used to play tennis with or whatever. Every single day, $2,000 to his account. Every day of the week, like, and before that it was like $5,000. And then it just kept going down because he was like misappropriating the funds. And before that, he had stole some funds. So like, whatever. He had everything you could ever ask for. Nice houses, nice everything he could ever wanted. And he didn't have this thing that I had, where it's like, God, there goes God fucking up my life. He didn't have that pain, but he had another pain of, why am I even like living life? Like, what is there to live for? I've done so much. And he had experienced so much, and he had so much luxury or so much that he had access to, that he had no reason to be like mad or sad or like no, he had no reason to be happy anymore, because he already experienced everything. Like, he could do whatever he wanted. Like, there was no struggle in life. There's no reason to have a purpose. There's no reason to work. There's no reason to do anything. So he's just like really, really sad every single day, constantly getting strippers, constantly getting prostitutes. Like, and his life is just this dull feeling of, what is there to live for? And you see a dark side, like, where it's, you get this relationship towards yourself and towards love, that you have to earn love. Like, you have to perform to earn acceptance from your family, from God, because at a certain point I thought that God, that uh that I wanted God, but I'm not sure if God wanted me. That's what was in my head. Like, I wasn't sure that God wanted me, in a real sense. I'm really quoting like the AA book, but I wasn't sure that God wanted me, and I started to like want to prove, and I started to want to think like, I have to be perfect for God to want me. Like, if I sin, he's not going to think I'm good enough, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm downing my parents or something, but I had this relationship with my parents where it's like all about what I was doing. It's like, yeah, like do this and you'll be a good, that's what's gonna make you a good son. Like play good tennis. Like they have an idea of you, and if you complete that idea, like they'll treat you good, for a very short amount of time. But I completely discarded myself, and I started to only chase that. And when I chased that, and even in school chased and tried to earn these people's acceptance and this people's love, it's like it's I can't be perfect enough. Like, why can't I be perfect enough? Why can't I be perfect enough to where I'm earning it, where I can earn it all the time, and it's enough. It's almost, to make it and put it in simple terms, it's almost like the stripper that every single time that you want to go to the next base, she's like, I need more money. I need more money. I need more. It's just that constant thing of more, I need more. I need more from you to be enough, and that was my relationship with everything in life. That's still my relationship, like in a sense, with love. When I'm in a relationship and I'm really getting maybe unconditional love, I'm still trying to learn this sense of unconditional love. Like, is unconditional love really real? Because every love I've ever known has had conditions. Even the truest ones, even the best ones, they all have conditions. It's a condition of you being a certain type of person, you doing certain things, and that's that's something that I'm still wrestling with. But I have this idea that I have to earn so much, when whole time God just loves me for me, loves me for every part of me, loves me for my bad, loves me for my good, loves me for my indifferent, loves me for everything that I am, my imperfections, everything. God still loves me. Only person that doesn't love me enough is me, and the only person that can convince me that God doesn't love me enough, and that I'm not worthy of God, or that I'm not worthy of this, or I'm not worthy of that, is me. And it's scary to think that we think of ourselves like that, and I think of myself like that, but I guess that's where faith comes in play, and now I know for a fact, God is real. God has put me through terrible things, let me go through so many different things, and then on the other side of it, I'm like, that's why, that makes sense. All of it makes sense now. It makes sense why I went through the pain, because on the other side of not going through the pain, on the other side of not dealing with these things, it's like I could be dealing with a whole different type of depression. I could never, I could be in a different situation where the feeling's worse, and he's just letting me deal with it and letting me think I'm alone. I'm happy that he interfered, because some people don't have that interference. Some people don't have that sense, like there's something out there that's looking out for me. Some people really believe that they're all alone, and some people don't make it out of that. Some people commit suicide. Some people die by that, really believing, I'm not alone. I'm alone. I'm alone in the fact that life is being life, and I have to deal with it myself, and I have to be extremely strong to deal with all this, because nobody's going to deal with it for me. Nobody's going to be there, and God isn't here. I got me, and that's it. And I'm happy I don't think like that. I'm happy I'm not in that place, and I'm still weathering this survival sense. I still have survival's remorse in a way, where it's like, I'm becoming food sometimes. I notice, especially in sobriety, where it's like I started to believe, and when I was like not sober or before I met God, that like good people don't get anything in life. Good guys, good girls, good people that do good don't get anything in life, because people just fuck them over because you're food. And maybe you're food, maybe you're given to them, but it's like everything comes back around. That's something that I've realized, because I've been the villain in the story. I've been the person that took from people. I've been the person that has done terrible things, and I've told myself narratives of telling myself how to do things, or letting myself do things, because it's like, dude, I need this, so I'm gonna take it, and I can tell myself anything to do it. It's a weird relationship, but you can do that, and I don't have to tell myself that today. And everything happens for a reason. I could say that today. And you don't gotta know why. I used to think I had to know why. This happened. I used to ask that question all the time. And I remember the first thing somebody told me when I came in to get sober was, why ask why? Why are you asking why? Why are you really asking that question? And he's like, if you ask why, you just want to be the victim. You're not here to know why. You're not here to know the answers to everything in life. You're here to seek the answers in life. You're here to have faith for the fact that you have somebody that's guiding, and something that's guiding your life. So it's a choice to be a victim of your circumstance. It's a choice, and things are it's inevitable for things to happen. It's inevitable for pain to happen. It's inevitable for people to hurt you. It's just the fact of the matter. Do you want to believe that, like, those things that are hurting you is that it? Is that it? That the world's a cold place. Do you want to really have that narrative towards yourself that life frickin' sucks, man, and everything sucks, and nobody's to be trusted, and there's no love in this world? Because I've been there, man, and I've thought that there's nothing out there. There's no real love. There's no real anything. And that's not a good place to be. It's like really a depressing place. And you want to let yourself go somewhere else, but you can't. And I'm happy to know I'm not alone. And seeking that support is really important. Like when I'm down, when I'm out, like, bro, I give somebody the right person a call, it could change everything. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not alone in this, man. I'm not the only person that thinks this, because somebody like me is out there that thinks this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should like drop my number here, and like some of you guys give me a call or something. I don't know. That'd be funny. But you're not alone. And I love to think that I am. I love to play the victim, and I love to think nobody's out there even for my help. It's so hard to even pick up the phone, and if I have somebody that could support me, have somebody that I could call on, like, to even pick up that phone and press that number is 10,000 pounds. It takes so much out of me, because I'm like, man, I don't want to ask for help. Like, I want to be able to be the person to answer everything. I want to be able to be the person that could support myself. And I want to play the victim. It's very, very true. I want to play the victim, and I want to think I have it all figured out, but I really don't. And I'm just stupid in a sense. So, yeah. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change things I can, the wisdom and the difference. God grant me the serenity to know the difference. Like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, knowing what you can change and what you can't change is a really big thing. Because some things you just have no control. It's just true. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, what? Ay. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I got another video in the corner here. Thanks. Just subscribe, actually. Just subscribe. I don't care about the like. I don't care about the comment. Just subscribe, please. Because I love you.